3, 2, 1. Almost wrecked it there.
What you just saw was actual speed. POV from the bed of my 1/10 scale RC Cybertruck from Hot Wheels. Despite Mattel's best efforts to get me to cancel my order, they finally got me the collector's edition RC modeled after the Cybertruck announcement day prototype. In fact, it is so true to the appearance of the original Cybertruck design that I think it forced some compromises in the design of the RC. The too long didn't watch is that despite being all-wheel drive, this is really an RC race car and not an RC truck. But even then, it doesn't handle that well as an RC race car. It is super fast in a straight line, as you just saw, capable of real-world speeds over 30 miles per hour. But it likes to roll instead of sliding when on pavement, yet it is easily defeated by leaves and grass off pavement. After Mattel shipped the 1/64 scale RC Cybertrucks to Target 6 weeks before shipping to those of us with pre-orders, I was pleasantly surprised to get a shipping notification before seeing this on shelves anywhere. The box you see is the outer box it was shipped in, and inside is a nicely packed metal case containing absolutely everything you need to charge and operate this RC, with the exception of 4 AA batteries needed for the controller.
Oh, that is really cool. This foam piece was actually stuck up here when I opened the case, revealing the Cybertruck. This case is a lot of what you're paying for when you bought this. If you haven't already bought one of these, you're only going to be able to get one of these on eBay at this point. That's because this is a limited edition designed for collectors. That's why it comes in this presentation box. It's not just a protective carrying case, but it's meant to display all the different parts that you get with it in a pretty cool fashion. I mean, look at this case itself. It is metal on all sides, lined with egg crate foam, and then die cut foam on the inside. That's actually really cool. Gonna get this out of the way. Up here, we have the controller, and that takes some batteries, which I'm going to put in. We have the AC adapter. This is another adapter that goes between the power supply, actually, and the battery. We have the quick start guide, an acrylic bumper, which I am going to put on, but this only protects one part of it. This only protects the front, whereas the whole thing is going to get beaten up by the end of this video, I guarantee you. The Cybertruck itself.
Mattel did a great job of packing the case as well as the components inside. However, once you peel the protective film off the RC, it will never look as good again, which you'll see soon enough. The lithium iron phosphate battery is shipped inside the RC, though unplugged to protect the battery and the Cybertruck. My battery was nearly fully charged out of the box, which I wasn't expecting. Charge time from empty is listed as 1 hour with an average runtime of about 30 minutes. This absolutely looks just like the original Cybertruck design, right down to the door handles, which the production Cybertruck will supposedly lack. It has a rolling tonneau cover, just like the original Cybertruck. It has a tailgate modeled after that in the original Cybertruck, though it uses magnets and not latches to stay closed. Plus, the travel limiters are strings instead of some form of internal mechanisms, but both design choices can be excused due to the scale and price of this RC. The tailgate also holds a deployable ramp. Again, this is just going for the look of the original Cybertruck more so than attempting to be a functional ramp, but it's a nice detail that Mattel included in this collector's edition RC.
One of the cool things about this case is you can flip the vehicle upside down without hurting it, so you can do a function check. I'm actually going to use this as an opportunity to go through all of the different switches and dials on the controller. But before I do that, I want to introduce you to something really important. And that is not just this quick start guide, but in here, behind these stickers, this is overdone. These are broken window stickers. I'm not going to use those. Is a complete user's guide, including a diagram of the controller that tells you what all the different things are, including this right here, which says ATV, which does not stand for all-terrain vehicle. It stands for adjustable travel volume. It's literally right here in the manual. It blows my mind how many people will pull something like this out, rush to get a video, and they don't even read the manual. Drives me nuts. I'm going to show you what it does in all these different dials. The manual tells you, in order to pair this correctly, we turn on the controller first, then we turn on the car. We can just test it. There, it's paired. And right away, you can see this is all-wheel drive. Actually, I'm going to turn this off and show you something about the suspension before I get started with the other stuff. The rear suspension is fully independent, but the front suspension is linked side to side. That helps keep it flat when you're turning and when it hits bumps. We're going to turn this back on. Of course, this big Cybertruck looking wheel is the steering. This is the throttle. This little thing right here is just a hunk of rubber. It is a mechanical block to keep you from getting the last 30% of throttle. I am going to keep that on for now. You've got throttle trim, which is actually something that I had to play with a little bit to get the throttle to function correctly. Straight out of the box, this is what this was doing for me at 0 trim. So I had to trim out the throttle to make sure that the throttle stopped as soon as I let go of the trigger. But that's an easy thing to fix. You could actually reverse so that when you pull, you go in reverse. You push, you go forward. Basically, when you're pushing forward, you're going forward. When you're pulling back, you're going in reverse. Not interested in that. You can actually reverse the steering. Some people prefer the steering to be reversed because they think about it being the underneath instead of the top. I'm going to keep it standard. I'm not going to mess with the steering trim. What you do with that is you run it straight, and if it curves as you're trying to make it go straight, then you adjust the trim. But you can see I'm just adjusting the trim dial right there. Get that back straight. All right, I came around on the other side of the car because I really want you to see what's going on here. I pulled it out of the foam a little bit more so I get full travel lock to lock with the steering. Here is full steering lock to lock. Now watch what happens as I change the ATV dial. As I wind it down, you can see I get less steering lock to lock. Why would you want that? Well, this thing goes 28 plus actual miles per hour. You think 280 miles an hour scale speed? And if all of a sudden you just lock the turning like that, you're gonna roll. You don't want that. So when you know you're gonna be going fast, you can back down the steering so it's a lot tighter. When you know you need to maneuver because you're going more slowly, you can bring that back. And that is what the ATV dial does. It does not control an all-terrain vehicle. No, this is not a signal of a future product. This is a pretty ordinary dial that you have on RC controllers. Oh, there's one other button here. You hold it, then it's gonna flash in a second here. I say that. Now, holy poop. That's insane mode, or sport mode, as they call it. And then you hold it till it goes back to solid, and that's chill mode. We're gonna show that on the road soon enough. All right, time for the drive test. But one of the things that was immediately apparent to me pulling this out of the box is that this is actually more of a car chassis than a truck chassis. It really doesn't have a lot of clearance. It doesn't have a lot of travel. It has very low profile tires instead of big puffy tires. Even though this is all-wheel drive, this thing is going to perform way more like a car RC than a truck RC, especially when we take it off-road. I'm going to do it anyway, but I think very quickly we're going to see that if you were looking for a 4x4 off-road RC, this is not a good choice. I think the actual Cybertruck will perform better off-road than this is going to, but if you were hoping that this thing was going to be a beast off-road as an RC, because it's all-wheel drive, you can just forget it. It's gonna have a hard time in a lot of places that just aren't gonna be a challenge for a true 4x4 off-road oriented RC. But it's gonna be super fast on pavement. All right, so I'm actually testing two things at once. I'm testing this car and my new DJI RSC2 with active tracking. We're gonna see if this can track this car. I call it a car because that's really what this chassis is. Wow, that's pretty cool. That is not a human being controlling that camera. That is a robot. One of the nice things about this is it is controllable at slow speed. All the reviews to date that I've seen so far have just had these things wailing top speed. We're gonna get to that, but I just wanna get a hang of this now.
The Ronin RSC2's motion tracking actually worked better than I was expecting, but the Silver RC just doesn't have enough contrast and frame to be tracked at the speeds it's capable of.
Oh my God. Oh, this is gonna get destroyed just from regular use. Oh my gosh. It is scratched like crazy already. I've been driving this thing for 5 minutes and it's already cosmetically destroyed.
This RC is fast, even in chill mode with the throttle limiter in place. With full steering, it's capable of turns that are tight enough to roll it, which will happen to you lots, even once you think you have the hang of it.
Oh man. Yeah, it's just bouncing all over and it's not going straight on this road. Oh, the tailgate popped open. Holy cow, this is just trashed.
This RC is so fast, it's blurry standing still. It has enough torque that it'll spin its tires even though it's all-wheel drive. I can't say this is actually that enjoyable to drive on pavement, however. The speed starts out being fun, but going in a straight line really fast is only fun for so long. As you already saw, it rolls very easily without you needing to do anything that aggressive. Off-road is a huge disappointment, though, as I already mentioned, I was prepared for that the minute I pulled it out of the box. The tires have off-road tread to scale, which means they're inadequate as off-road tires for a high-torque RC. They just spin on top of anything loose like leaves or loose dirt or wet grass. Plus, dirt and pine needles and leaves work their way between the chassis and the body the whole time you're running it on the ground with no easy way to clear it out. Plain and simple, this RC has one good use and one good use only as a collector's item to never unwrap and keep on a shelf somewhere.
God. It's just so not off-road. This thing is trashed. It's easy in hindsight to ask me, what were you thinking when you placed your order? And the answer is, I didn't know. It was presented as a collector's edition, of course, but I'm not the kind of guy that buys stuff just to collect. I wanted to get a Cybertruck RC, and a collector's edition was the only way to get one. So I was surprised at the gap between how much I had to pay to get this and the value that I think that money could have bought me in just a regular RC car or 4x4 RC truck. This little guy only costs 20 bucks, and it's way more fun. I can drive it all around my garage. I can drive it in my house. I can wreck it all I want, and I'm not really worried about it in any way, shape, or form. I can run it on Hot Wheels track. This is an amazing value, and not just because it's only $20, but because that $20 is money well spent. This was worth the $460 it cost to get this to me on the day it arrived, and that was it. It's worth considerably less now, and I don't mean just in resale value, of course. I mean, just look at it, but I also mean in the amount of fun, the amount of value that I could still be getting out of that money if I would have spent it on something else. Yes, it looks like the original design of the Cybertruck. And yes, it is really cool that Mattel made something like this for fans of the Tesla Cybertruck, but I really was hoping that it was going to be more than just something that looked like a Cybertruck for somebody to buy just to have sitting on a shelf. One of these days, we'll get to see what the actual Cybertruck looks like, the production version. It has supposedly gone through some changes from what you see here. I actually made a video on different things that I would love to see them change about the original design. Not things like the general aesthetics, but things like the wheelbase. And actually, this is a horrible idea. Anyone who actually loads ATVs on ramps will tell you that. But I've got a video on that, and I will link it in the video description. Be sure to subscribe for more videos on Cybertrucks, maybe more on the RC, but certainly on the real one. I really appreciate you watching The Tech of Tech, and hope to see you next time.